2 months ago when you hired me, what was our close rate and what was our revenue in April?
Yeah, so close rate was at a measly 15%, and we were contracting 9K that month.
30 days later, what did we do for May?
Wild. I don't even know if people are going to believe this, but 100K contracted and 45% close rate. Like if you like money and growing your business, then you need to have a high close rate. And if you don't have a high close rate right now, Austin is certified in getting you that.
Well, I'm
So
here today with two very special guests. You know they're special because it's a Friday afternoon and I'm not golfing. I'm sitting in my office doing a little interview with them. So, Steph, Andy, it's great to see both of you guys. How are you?
what's good, Austin? Good to be here.
Love it. Well, it's great to see both of you guys. We're only like what 6 or 8 weeks into our engagement together, but the numbers that you guys are cranking right now are just absolutely ridiculous. So wanted you guys to get on and kind of share the progress, the updates, what we've been working on, what we've been doing together, because I think for people watching this, the growth that you guys have had, other people can achieve too. And I think if we can lay out the foundation and the blueprint for them, it would be super helpful. But if you guys could kind of set the stage, we're in the middle, or we just started June. So in April, 2 months ago, when you hired me, what was our close rate and what was our revenue in April?
Yeah, so close rate was at a measly 15%, and we were contracting 9K that month.
30 days later, what did we do for May?
Wild. I don't even know if people are going to believe this, but 100K contracted and 45% close rate.
So then the looming question becomes like, how? What did we do? What did we work on? Like, what happened for 30 days to triple the close rate and 11x the contracted revenue?
Man, it was absurd. And I honestly was skeptical that it would happen this fast. And I had a feeling it was going to happen, but I didn't know it was going to happen this fast. But basically, number one was just kind of changing Anthony's energy set, I think. Because one of the biggest things that you talk about, Austin, is authoritative leadership. And I think that Anthony just brought on this whole new vibe to him that not only shows up in the calls that he takes, but also even in our team meetings. He just has this energy around him that is just like so like it's authoritative, like every like when he talks, we listen. Like obviously we're his boss, but I mean in a lot of ways he's leading us and leading our sales department right now. So I think that was probably the biggest thing, like mindset perspective wise, that you created within him to shift him and allow him to start closing at a higher clip. Obviously, there was some little technical things, and we had, as we spoke about right before this, a sales manager on board who was probably not filling all the gaps, and it just led to us not really being where we wanted to be. So you came in, did your thing, and yeah, Anthony's a killer now.
Yeah, and for those listening, Anthony was their sales rep. So the structure of the business, they had Andy and Steph running the business, operations, marketing, things like that. And then they had a head of sales who was kind of leading their sales department and their one closer, which is Anthony. And I remember when I met Anthony, I had told you guys, I was like, look, you guys wrote me the check, not Anthony. So I have zero allegiance to this Anthony character. So if he sucks, I'm gonna tell you he sucks. Like I don't care. It's that's on you, not me. I'm just going to be honest about it. And I met this kid and I was like, oh, he's great. He just hasn't been properly trained. Like this kid is young, hungry, ambitious. He's coachable, which is really important for those listening who want to hire a closer. Young, hungry, coachable. They'll be a killer as long as they have the right training, which he didn't have. And I told him on the very first call, the very first time I ever met Anthony, I got to know him, realized he was great and he was here to stay. And I said, I no longer care about Steph or Andy. I just care about making you rich. And I said, if I can make you rich, they will be happy. They will be taken care of. They will be happy. And so him and I just like hit the pavement, hit the ground running, plugged them into the back end modules. And then we just started ripping one-on-one calls, call review, call review, call review. And he just started progressing and picking up what I was putting down. I mean, 15 to 45, 9K to 100K. It's like, it's mind-blowing growth that 99% of people watching could only dream of.
Yeah, it's wild, man. Yeah, you said it real good. I think it was really just coming in, teaching him the places where he wasn't really efficient in, and just he did all the work from there.
Yeah. Andy, so I'm curious because you had reached out to me and said, "Hey, my partner and I, like, we need to get on a call." Why did you reach out to me? Like, what was happening in the business that you guys were dissatisfied with or just not happy with that prompted you to reach out and potentially get some help?
Yeah, so we've seen a steady but rapid decline in terms of like our revenue and how many deals we were closing. From January was honestly a pretty good month, but then things just started to go downhill and it sort of started to feel like whatever we tried to do to stop it, we just couldn't. And then one day we sat down and we mapped out the whole sales funnel. Because, like we said, we had this person on board. We kind of gave the reins to him, and we didn't really like give too much to like what's going on. We just trusted him. But at one point, it came to like me and staff just sitting down, mapping out the whole entire sales funnel, our conversion numbers, and being like, okay, this and this and this number needs to change. And funny enough, it was prompted by an Alex Formosi video of like how he increased the profit of one company, but that's besides the point. So then from there, we realized that like this is the change we want. These are this is like the type of leadership or like the task of like leading the sales team that is like needed to fulfill this. Neither me or staff have like an extensive experience in just being amazing closers ourselves and like yet alone training somebody else, which I think is a separate skill set. So then from there on, it was like clear that we need a person, and we've been part of Summit acquisition where I reached out to you. So I literally just went to the sales channel and I wanted to ask a question, but then first of all, I just read through the post and I saw you like commenting. Not even I saw you commenting. Somebody asked the question and like three people were like tagging you. Like you gotta talk to Austin. No, you gotta hire Austin. And I was like, who is Austin? So then I looked at you and I somehow found your website. Literally just read the thumbnails of the testimonial videos, and then I sent you a message like, hey, this is what we're looking for. Is this something that you do? And then you were like, yeah. And then we were like, okay, let's
The
do
way
it.
you described what you wanted was exactly one of my offers that I called the formula. And it's how to scale a coaching company to 250K a month without having to take sales calls yourself, like building, training, managing a team. And the way that you wrote it out, I was like, couldn't have said it better myself. Like, matter of fact, I can help you with that. So, and then you had introduced me to Steph, and we had a great call. And I think when I was telling you guys what we could do, you were like, all right, if we could do half of what he's promising, it will be a worthwhile investment. But I think now, a couple months in, like, we've gone far beyond what I'd promised you we would do, and we aren't done yet. Like, we're still going, which is exciting.
Told us
But
you told us we would be at 30% close rate. We're at 45 now.
yeah, yeah. Hey, that's how you do it. You under promise, you over deliver. I learned that a long time ago. That's the secret sauce. But Steph, if you could like educate everyone on like what is the offer, what is the price point? Because if you look at 100K a month and you have a $50,000 program, it's like, okay, cool. You sell two deals, like you make 100K, but obviously your program is not 50K. So if you could educate the audience on what the offer is, how much it costs.
Yeah, so right now the offer is $5,200, and we do 12 weeks of coaching to help people permanently eliminate their pain, tightness, and just recurring injuries. And basically, it's targeted at just like our desk-bound athletes who have some kind of former athletic background, but now they're just trying to be recreational and just trying to be pain-free and feel good.
Love that. And I love helping you guys because it's such a sick offer that can help so many people. But a $5,200 offer means we did 20 units last month. Like that's a lot of new clients and a lot of amazing people that we get to, or you guys get to go help. So
That's another thing that we actually need to speak about is what to do on the delivery front, because we're starting to get burnt.
Something I can help you with. So I know we're going to book in another call in the next week or so, and I can show you how to map out, play around with the offer to make it actually better for the people buying it, but also better for you on the back end of fulfillment. So I can help you guys map all that out. We'll get that done. Consider it done.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. So with working with me, I know we're only halfway through, but what would you guys say, like, if you had to pick one single biggest takeaway from our time together so far, what would you say that it is?
For me, the common theme that just keeps circulating in my head is authoritative leadership. I spoke about it a little bit earlier, but I think that I have also embodied that just by being around you, just seeing how you carry yourself, how you lead people, and how you just kind of like execute in general. I've been able to take on that authoritative leadership for my team. And I think that it's made me, well, I know that it's made me a better leader, and I'm able to just control things in a way that I wasn't doing before. And now I think that it's really allowed me to just access a new level within the business. So I think that's my main takeaway.
Yeah, it's funny. Most people hire me, so like we want to make more money. Like, let's close more sales. We're leaving money on the table. But like you can only go so far with just making money because money is a direct result of the level that you operate as a CEO and a business owner. So yes, we can make money, but you're going to keep hitting a ceiling until you elevate who you are as a leader. And if you can lead people in your company, you can go as far as you want to go, right? Like you have to be a good leader for Anthony. And Anthony has to be a good leader for these prospects on the sales call. And I know who your head of sales was, but I told you guys, I was like, look, you're paying this amount of money every month to stunt the growth of your business. And he's a really nice guy. And my respect goes out to him, but there's levels to it, right? There's levels to the game that we play. And all we need to do is swap this level of leadership for me coming in at this level of leadership. Because you were a perfect client for me. You already had leads. You have a kick-ass offer. You have a ton of testimonials. You guys have been in the game for a while. Like, I didn't have to come in and help you with marketing. And that's a good thing because I'm not a marketer, right? Like, I pride myself on doing EBM, everything but marketing. And I haven't had to tell you how to market, right? You've crushed it on Instagram. You have a ton of great followers and people who love you. Like, you had so many leads. I just had to show you guys how to have authoritative leadership for you to lead the team and for Anthony to lead the calls. And then everything spiraled out of control in the best way possible.
Yeah, man. Exactly. Yeah. Really well said.
What do you guys think is on the horizon? We're in the middle of 2024. What's on the horizon, the trajectory through the rest of the year?
That's a good question that I think Steph and I need to sit down and think about, because in April, when we first hired you and we said like we're not going to be satisfied with the type of growth really regression that we had, but that we want to grow exponentially, we projected to collect 350,000 next April, so April of 2025. But I think it's time to sit down and put the bar higher. So off the top of my head, I think that we definitely want to make 200,000 in September. I think that's going to be the next milestone. And I'm almost scared to even put a cap on our potential by saying what I want to make next year. So gonna have to put some thought into that.
I mean, that's a good place to be.
Definitely, man. Yeah. What I'm realizing is that a lot of it is the mental cap, and just really kind of realizing that you can put pieces in play, especially at the scale that we're at. Like once you're past like 10, 30,000, then it's really just a matter of putting the right pieces in play. And you can do that almost overnight.
In my opinion, it's much more difficult to go from like 0 to 10 or 10 to 30. Once you can go from like 10, 15, 20, 30K up to 100, it almost becomes easier because now you have capital to invest in people. So you can buy back a little bit of your time. you have a sales process, which has obviously been proven. Like you can't do 100K in a month without a proven sales process. Like I don't even, if you have a 5K or less offer, I don't even think you can luck your way into 100K a month. Like you got to be dialed. You got to have some systems. You got to know how to run a sales call and handle objections and collect credit cards and close deals. And now that you guys have that and you've done it once, we can just duplicate that, right? We can take Anthony and we can hire another closer and take all the training that we gave to Anthony and then give it to the new closer and then another one and another one. I know you guys just hired on a second appointment setter. We were talking before this about hiring on another closer. Now we just scale the team. And as we scale the team, we scale the business, which scales the impact and changes the world in a big way. So the trajectory that you guys are on, very exciting. I think you guys have already done the grueling hard work to get to this point. Now we get to just make these big sweeping changes like new hires and new systems and things like that, which will just keep things pacing in a good direction.
Yeah, man, it's exciting stuff. I'm so hyped.
Yeah. I mean, were you guys, when we had our first call, because I know we were in another group together, but I don't think you guys knew that much about me. And when I walked you through my program, did you guys have like any hesitation, or was it like, well, if he says what he says he can do, then we're in? I mean, was there any hesitation when you guys were talking to me for the first time?
Yes, about which credit card to use.
Yeah, on my end, there was maybe like really the hesitation was just like, okay, we just had a terrible month. Should we spend all this money on a coach, or should we like wait till we have a little bit of a better month and then spend the money? But I'm sure the people watching, if they have half the mindset that I do, you could see that that's just not the way to go about things if you want to grow. Because what would we have done? Like waited another month, maybe made like 30K that month, maybe. And then what? Like, so it just made more sense for me, like when I thought about it, to just go ahead and do it.
So you guys are on the other side of the fence now. Like, because we've had a ton of one-on-one calls, ton of interactions in Slack. I've handheld your closer to tripling the close rate and 11xing the revenue. So like you guys being on the other side of the fence, what would you tell somebody watching who isn't on this side of the fence, but maybe they're considering jumping over?
Yeah, that it's literally a no-brainer. Like if you like money and growing your business, then you need to have a high close rate. And if you don't have a high close rate right now, Austin is certified in getting you that. So it's really, to me, a no-brainer. I mean, even the position we were in, like I said, it was a little bit of a decision, but then in retrospect, I don't even know why I thought about it as long as I did. So that's what I would tell people is just like, just think about it from a logical standpoint, and it's 99% of the time for 99% of the people watching, it's probably going to make sense to work with Austin.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And I was laughing because like we were 2 weeks into our engagement and Andy sent me a Slack message and she said, I hope you have a continuation offer because we're never leaving. And I was like, you guys just got started and you're in my 4-month program. We're like 2 weeks in. But I think the reason, and Andy, you can elaborate on, I think the reason you said that was because you started seeing these immediate changes in Anthony. And Anthony's on the front lines taking the calls. So he is a very, very key component, an important person to the business, because if he sucks, you have no clients. So I think you started seeing these changes in him after just 1 or 2 one-on-one calls. And you're like, great, like we need more of this forever.
Yeah, that. And I binge watched a good proportion of your course, like the first 24 hours. I even told Steph, like, I think I heard Austin's voice more than my own for a couple of days. I was just binge watching. And I saw like how much is there basically, like how much value is there, how much, like not only I can learn because I'm not gonna be the one closing perhaps ever, but just like thinking forward for our team and the people that we are going to bring on board after Anthony. Yeah, I definitely saw a ton of value.
Yeah, I love that. Because building a team, it's not the easiest thing in the world. And before hiring me, you guys had already done it. You had a head of sales and you had a closer. And that's what I think a lot of people watching this do. They're like, how hard could it be? I just hire a closer and I'll be the head of sales. it's not that easy. And I think as you started digging into the content of the SOPs and the systems and the strategies to actually organize and build a real company and have structure around what you're doing for everyone to win and succeed, I think you started to realize like, holy shit, there's way more to this than we originally thought. From Slack channels to team meetings, just to payroll tracking. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. And that's why I've created that offer. The formula is to like not just do it, but do it right.
Speaking of doing it right, I think another huge takeaway that maybe is a little bit more tangible than the whole authoritative leadership thing that I got from you is that when you're building a business, even from scratch, you got to think about it like you're building it to 1 million a month, like right from the get-go. And that's even already influenced our decisions. Like we were going over some setting processes and we were just taking a look at them, and we're like, yeah, this is going to work for like 2 setters and probably like even the third setter that we're going to bring on. But what about if we have like 6, 7, or 8? Like this probably won't fly. And it just like allowed us to streamline things. So yeah, that mentality of having 1 million a month, because why not? Why stop at 30, 50, 100, 250 even? Like you might as well build it to a million because it's going to be the same amount of effort either way.
You got to build the
Yeah.
business from day one. It's like, let's just set it up for scale. Why do you want to go back and redo it all later? That becomes such a cluster, and it also kills the momentum of your business. Like we know people that they hit a certain number and they're like put everything on pause and they're like, all right, I need to revamp my course. I need to revamp my CRM. I need to change all these SOPs. And it's like, well, you just had a record breaking month and now you're just going to time out on everything and kill all the momentum of your business. So it's significantly better to do these things earlier on or even from the beginning if we can, so we don't have to go back and change them all later.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, I will just jump on that and say that that was an also a very important piece in hiring you because we did have the thought of like, what if we just do it ourselves? Like what if we just learn about all of this? There's information and everything. But then we looked at each other and we were like, do you want to do this? No. Do you? No. Why are we trying to do this? Like we're not gonna go to 1 million a month, like training our salespeople ourselves if that's not what we want to be doing.
Yeah. And if that's not your zone of genius, like it's just going to kill your momentum and your morale and mindset to go do something day in and day out that you don't want to do. Like when I have Anthony on my calendar that day, I'm fired up. I love it. I'm so excited to jump on with him and just review calls and answer questions and just pour into him. And not all of our conversations are about here's how to handle this objection and here's how to structure the call. I'm pouring into him man to man as a human and like supporting his mindset in his life. It's not just about sales, but it's also the mindset that he has that he can start to adopt that's going to allow him to just live a better, more meaningful life in general. And some of those deep conversations are the ones he comes back to me. He's like, dude, thank you for the conversation today. By the way, close 3 sales. And it's like, great, it's a win-win all the way around. So if you guys aren't inspired by doing that, that's okay. I'm not inspired by marketing. I don't want to wake up and film VSLs and post content. Like Steph, you're the king of content. Like if people look you up on the internet, like you're the king of content, you crush it, you're so good at it, and you can tell that you enjoy doing it. Right. I'm just a little bit different. It's how my brain is wired. So if you guys can pass off your sales team to me and allow me to operate in my zone of genius at a very high level and do what I love, it gets it off your plate, puts it onto mine, everybody wins.
Totally, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for you guys. Obviously, the growth very quickly is exciting, but I also know the trajectory that you're on because I didn't set you guys up for short-term success to go drop off a cliff later. We're grinding out the systems and policies and procedures for you guys to scale this thing 200, 500, a million a month as far as you want to go, as quickly as you want to go there. And I bet it feels good to have this foundation in place where it's like, great, all we need to do now is figure out the client success side to make sure we can take on clients and they still get great results. And then you can just turn up the marketing, which goes to your appointment setters, which goes to your sales team, which then gets closed and then becomes clients. It's like a really simple system, but we've built this foundation that you guys can have for the rest of your life. And I'm excited for you guys to just keep building.
Yeah, yeah. I seriously never. I knew that people around me were hitting 100, 200, 300K months, but I never really felt it inside of me, like how simple it was. But now it's just like so clear. It's just like, yeah, just a couple pieces put in place, and it's really it.
And you guys have done it, right? It's not even like a dream or a hope or something on a piece of paper or written on the mirror, like maybe one day we could do this. Like you guys have done it. And it's especially exciting because you went from 9 to 100. It's not like you hit like 80 and then like 85 and you're like, yay, we did 100. Like you guys went from 9 the month before. And I know that's like you've had bigger months than that, but it was like when you hired me, it was like kind of an all-time low for you guys. Like 9K for you guys is not great. And then going from 9, 30 days later to 100, it's impressive and a testament to the hard work, the testimonials that you guys have, and the ability that you guys have to build these companies. You just needed the right leadership and the right knowledge for me to come in and kind of point my finger and show you guys the blind spots. You go execute them, everything grows.
Yeah, and just for a little bit more transparency, just so people know, the biggest month we had before that contracted was 50K. And then I think we collected probably 43 in cash. So a lot of that was accounts receivable from the months before. So that also wasn't even close to what we did this month. So it's
So
huge.
it's like your best month ever. We work together for 30 days and we double it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Well, it feels good, I'm sure, to have this new normal, right? The new normal is like, hey, 100K. And Andy, what did you say? You guys are pacing now in June to do 100K again, but not in revenue, but in cash. Is that what you said?
Actually, 119K cash.
It's amazing. So we go from your best month ever, 50, or we go April 9. Then last month we contract 100. Then this month we're pacing to collect in cash 119.
Yeah, we just hit a 25K week, like first week of June. Crazy in cash. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You guys deserve
But
it.
we'll probably do more though.
Hey,
Because
I won't be mad at you if you do.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Steph, Andy, thank you guys so much for taking the time to jump on with me. You guys have been a pleasure to work with. It's always nice when like we can vibe and get along and actually enjoy working together, and then we can also get the results. I definitely like when that happens, and Anthony as well. Shout out to him. I mean, the kid's a killer, and I would have told you if he wasn't, but I was like, hey, this guy, he's great. He just needs the right fundamentals and tools, and obviously I can give that to him. And so it's awesome seeing him succeed and his income grow and his ambitions getting met. So I'm really proud of you guys, and I appreciate you guys jumping on.
Appreciate you, Austin.
thank you for taking us.
Thank you for taking you on as a client. Thank you for taking our money and helping us. We appreciate that.